All right, in the interest of time, let's get going.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the Parent Leadership Awards. These are our 6th annual Parent Leadership Awards, and I would like to introduce our leaders. Hillary Conrad, the Chief of Child Abuse Prevention, the Chief of the Office of Child Abuse Prevention, and Kelly Barton, who is the Executive Assistant at the Child Abuse Prevention Center.
Good morning. Thanks for being here today. My name is Hillary Conrad, and I'm the Chief of the Office of Child Abuse Prevention. I'm excited to be here today along with our partners from the Child Abuse Prevention Center to honor and acknowledge the recipients of our 6th annual Parent Leadership Awards. One of the core values of our office is parent and caregiver leadership. We want to empower, promote, and engage parents and caregivers as partners in decision-making within systems and communities. We must strive to provide programs that support parents and caregivers to build strong families. Without these strong, brave parents and caregiver leaders stepping up and advocating for change for their families, how do we improve the lives of our children and communities? The Office of Child Abuse Prevention and the Child Abuse Prevention Center are honored to be here today to present awards to these incredible parent leaders and to hear about their achievements. We appreciate you joining us in this important recognition of these amazing parents. Before we present the awards, you will hear some background about this event, and after the awards are presented, our parent awardees will have a discussion to share their experiences as parents and leaders in their communities. Before we begin, I would like to invite our partners at the CAP Center, who will also be assisting in presenting awards, and the planning team to introduce themselves.
Good morning. My name is Kelly Barton, and I'm the Executive Assistant with the Child Abuse Prevention Center, and we're located in Sacramento. Before we begin, I would like to note a few logistical components which will make this event go more smoothly. Please mute your mics, and we welcome you to use the chat box for comments or questions, and you may also use the raise hand function as well for questions. I'd like to pass it over to FICA to go ahead with the introductions.
Thank you, Kelly. So this is just an introduction of our team. Who has worked together to put on the Parent Leadership Awards. My name is Faika Jazz, and I'm one of the facilitators. Kelly Barton, as you have already met, she will also be one of the facilitators. Bridget, she will be our timekeeper, and she's from the Office of Child Abuse Prevention. Brittany and Franny, it will be the note taker. Brittany will be the chat monitor, and Bryn will be our tech support person. So you'll hear her voice often throughout the meeting. Just to get us all started and to kick off, who do we have in the audience? If you could just put that in the chat. Are you a parent? Are you a part of the youth? Are you a service provider? And what type of organization? Please type the name of the organization. Just use the chat box to tell us.
Sorry about that. The chat should be enabled that you can chat with everyone now.
Thank you so much, Bryn. Thank you so much, everyone. We have a good pool of folks from all different organizations. That's exciting to see. At this point, we will be moving on to our icebreaker. And this is one just to get us started on the topic that we're discussing today, to get us kind of thinking before we do the awards. So what comes to mind when you think of a parent leader? You can feel free to use this link that we'll be putting in the chat, or you can also use your phone to use the QR code to go and take the poll and put in any words that come to mind when you think of a parent leader. So instead of a question, you would put, and you can do this multiple times, any words that come to mind when you think of a parent leader.
And Brittany just dropped that link in the chat for anyone who would like to open it that way. Otherwise, you can use the QR code.
We have some great responses coming in. Dedicated, resilient, hero, bringing positive change, inspiring, inspiration, resourceful, hope giver, empowerment, fearless, supportive and understanding, mentor, giving. These are really great ones. I think we're slowing down now. We can move to the next question, which is, what comes to mind? Who inspires you to help your community? So the same type of poll, excuse me, one word or a couple of words to describe who inspires you to help your community. You can use the link that we're going to be putting in the chat, or you can use the QR code. The QR code works with the camera app of your phone. Families, children, teens, my kids, that's a good one. My kids as well. Our future generations, my past self, that's a really good one. Those in need, my heart, my children, our future generations. Yeah, my elders. These are all so great. Babies and children. Youth, teens, yeah. My community. Trauma exposed youth, that's a really great one. That's amazing. I think we've hit our we're slowing down now. So we'll keep going, but thank you so much. This was a great activity to kind of get us started. And we're just going to get started with some of the background on parent leadership and the Parent Leadership Awards with the OCAP. We began these in 2018. 17 parents have been awarded in California. So these Parent Leadership Awards seeks to raise awareness of the important role of parents in their own homes and communities, demonstrates how parents can become more involved in improving their communities. And it also serves as a reminder for organizations that parent leadership is key to shared leadership. The last couple of years have been, especially difficult due to COVID, and parents needing more encouragement and support now than ever, and coming out of COVID. At the same time, though, we want to celebrate all of the resilience and accomplishments because there are many. You have demonstrated unending commitment to your families and communities, adapting as needed to meet life's challenges. And so we would like to introduce our Parent Leadership Award winners, who we feel represent these qualities. They are welcoming of all families in our communities. They're communicative, they're supportive, they're collaborative, and they're outspoken. And we are now going to become the awards. So I will turn it over to our chief, Hillary Conrad.
Thanks, FICA, and thanks for that activity this morning. It's nice to see everyone's heart. I like seeing people's heart, and I felt like those questions helped displayed what was in everyone's heart this morning. And so I really appreciate everyone participating. So I'm going to start us off. Apologies for if I mispronounce your name. I'm going to try my best. Our first award winner is Miriam Arleo Castillo, located in San Luis Obispo County. She is a very strong person and leads by example. When her staff had the opportunity to use 3 words to describe her, they listed strong, passionate, and advocate. She is extremely dedicated and is a hard worker. She also is an excellent role model for her 2 sons. Miriam has worked with the Department of Social Services, to put on various events for foster families, including a turkey drive and back to school events. She has always chosen to attend and participate in the events, and she brings her sons with her so that they can learn about giving back to their community. That's so important. Miriam continues to seek ways to grow as an individual and find new ways to help out. While still working full-time for CAPSLO in her parent education coordinator role and being a dedicated mother, she is pursuing her master's degree to become a licensed marriage and family therapist. The community is in dire need of Spanish-speaking therapists, and she hopes to help fill in that gap in the future when she obtains her license. Just like Miriam's mom inspired her to do great work in the community, Miriam is paving her own path of inspiring others. Congratulations, Miriam. And I'll pass it to Kelly.
Good morning. Next, we would like to highlight Jennifer Mohammed, located in Sacramento County. She's a wife and mother of 2 children who have also been active and participatory in the community representative member of the CSFS Prevention Cabinet since February of 2022. As a Prevention Cabinet member, Jennifer regularly attends CSFS monthly Prevention Cabinet and committee meetings, other events as requested, and readily shares her perspectives, especially when challenging and sensitive subject matters are discussed. Beyond participating as a CSFS Prevention Cabinet and Planning Team member, Jennifer is a member of the Community Engagement Subcommittee, where she has taken an active leadership role in revising and improving the community representative recruitment, orientation, and onboarding process, and recruiting other parent leaders. She has spoken in our communities, recruiting other parents and caregivers to apply as community representatives, and has participated in initial meetings with potential new parent leaders to share her experience and answer questions that they have. Jennifer's leadership extends beyond CSFS, and she also serves as a member of the First Five Sacramento Parent Advisory Committee and the First Five Sacramento's Parent Leadership Training Institute. Congratulations, Jennifer Mohammed. Hillary, I'll pass it to you for the next awardee.
Thanks, Kelly. Our next awardee is Manny Arroyo, located in Ventura County, and he's been serving as a parent partner leader for 8 years. Wow, dedication. He was part of the Parents as Leaders program when it's first started in Ventura County. He actively participates in various work groups, panels, meetings, and discussions around policy and macro level change. In the past, Manny's children were removed from his care and placed with a relative. He made positive changes in his life and successfully reunified with them. He became a parent partner so that he could guide other parents who were feeling scared and hopeless towards successful reunification. Collaboration has been a key part of Manny's service as a parent leader. Other efforts that Manny has been a part of include the Birth Parent Foster Parent Initiative, Quality Parenting Initiative, Father Engagement Team, CRC statewide convening, Essentials for Childhood Ventura County, and Ventura County Parent Voice. His participation is invaluable, and over the years, he has inspired changes in policy that better support our families in the reunification process. Congratulations, Manny, and thanks for being here. And I'll pass it back to you, Kelly.
Thank you. Next, we're going to highlight Luisa Guest, located in Shasta County. She's being recognized for her tremendous amount of support and encouragement in the lives of families in Shasta County. Parent leadership is a strengths-based approach grounded in the belief that parents are most knowledgeable about their families and communities. Parent leaders provide valuable insight into the programs and community efforts that benefit all children and families. This defines Luisa. She helps support the parent-to-parent support group monthly meeting, participates in events at Pathways to Hope for Children, and she table hosts and helps decorate parent cafes. That's such a helpful tool. She's also a part of many different organizations throughout Shasta County. She has dedicated many years to being a volunteer. She counts Thursdays as her giving back day and delivers food from the local food bank to families in Shasta County. She is dedicated to the growth and well-being of her own children as well as others. She shows day in and day out that she is dedicated to improving other families' lives by promoting leadership, wellness, encouragement, and insight. Congratulations, Luisa. Now, Luisa wasn't able to attend today, but did send a little note to say, I'm thankful to do the work as a peer support person and as a parent leader through Pathways to Hope. Well done. Hillary, back to you.
All right, thanks, Kelly. Last but not least, we want to acknowledge Elisa Cochran, located in Shasta County. She has 4 adult children and 6 grandchildren. She is a guardianship of 2 of her grandsons, ages 10 and 7, and has been raising them for the last 5 years. Elisa stated that she struggled initially to find a place as a caregiver and often wondered how she could raise grandchildren when she felt she had failed as a parent. Elisa had a feeling that she was not the only parent or caregiver that was in the same similar situation, and that she wanted to help children. That's when Elisa attended a parent-to-parent support group hosted by the Parent Leader Advisory Group, PLAG. She decided that she wanted to become involved with PLAG, and so she became a trained parent leader. For the last 3 years, Elisa has been a part of many of the programs at Pathways to Hope for Children. She volunteers her time with the teens at Reading Teen Center, building lasting relationships with them that will impact their lives forever. She hosts parent cafes and works with the team to promote protective factors. She is always looking for training opportunities to better her knowledge in her own parenting and others. Congratulations, Elisa. Great job, well done. So I just want to say thank you so much to all of our Parent Leadership Award winners for being with us today. I invite all of you to give them a virtual round of applause. I'm very touched by all the hard work and the depth that you have to go for your community. This is what we need. We need all of you. We need multiple of you in order to make a true difference. So I'm really honored to be able to provide these awards to you. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Fika and Kelly, who will facilitate our parent panel discussion.
Thank you, Hillary. Next slide, please. And next slide, please. Thank you. So we would like to go ahead and talk to our parent leaders and host a little activity about thinking about your community. So we encourage your participation. If there are any of our parent leaders on today who want to address any of the questions that we have, what do you want us to know about the community you live or work in? What makes it special or unique? And how does your community reach out to special populations? Or how has your community supported you and helped you feel connected? And I would like to go ahead and invite Jennifer Mohammed to go ahead and answer any of the questions for us.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Mohammed. So what makes my community unique is that everything is at a walking distance. I remember when I didn't have transportation and it was an issue for me, but there was not really an issue to be able to reach places. There's parks where I live, there's affordable schools, daycare, grocery stores. We even have dental right around the corner. And even my husband would tell like whoever he meets that, oh, my wife loves to walk. So even when we didn't have transportation, everything was 10 minutes, 15 minutes away. So that's what makes my community unique. Plus, we also have libraries right around the corner. So it's not too much of walking, and it makes it so amazing for us to be able to connect as a family, and for us to be able to even go to the parks and play with my kids. And it's right around their school where my daughter will be starting kindergarten soon. So it definitely makes everything so unique, having a variety of stuff around here, being able to just have it at a walking distance if we don't have transportation. How does my community reach? So I would like to know what does it mean, like reaching special populations? Is it a certain color, or what would that be when it comes to special populations?
That's a good question. So every population is unique. And so do you have any unique populations that your community has?
I'm going to go with yes, because when it comes to special populations, I would say the area that I live in, we have a lot of parents, a lot of families with 1 to 2 to 3 kids. So the way that our community reaches, we have not even a mile away, we have First Five right on the corner from us too. So that also helps out a lot in reaching special populations such as parents, and then creating parent leaders of the future. And the way that our community has supported us and helped us to stay connected would be through libraries, through social media, which has allowed for us to network more. And especially with COVID that happened, it allowed us to go virtual and be able to connect with families and there were services that were connecting with us if we need anything, and that has built a lot of outside relationship too. So if there's ever a need for anything, or if we have any question, whether it's regarding food, whether it's regarding anything that's connected to kids or any leadership programs, there is always somebody that stays connected with us, whether it's First Five, Sacramento Prevention Cabinet, or no matter who it is. It through COVID, there has been a lot of networking.
That's wonderful to hear. Thank you for sharing your perspective. Do we have any other parent leaders who would like to share, like Miss Elisa?
Hi, I wanted to answer how has my community supported me and helped me feel connected. They do that by allowing me to volunteer and give back to everyone. I've made friends and received resources and been linked to services for myself and my kids. So it's helped me support others that are in need.
That's wonderful that you've received support and have been able to turn around and give that to others.
Thank you.
Miriam, would you like to share?
Yes, good morning. My name is Miriam Castillo and I work with CAPSLO in San Luis Obispo County. I would like to answer, how does your community reach out to special populations? I think in the midst of COVID, everyone was in need. It wasn't just one population. It wasn't just like low income population. I think even, the ones that were well off at one point needed that support. And I think CAPSLO has made such a wonderful experience during that difficult time for families, where I know we had to stay inside and be on lockdown, but during that time, since we were front staff, it was like all hands on deck, and we were meet parents, outside, provide support. Transportation is a big issue here in San Luis Obispo. So we essentially put our parents first, our families first. Even though we knew it was dangerous, we still knew we had a job to do to make sure that those families had the support they needed. So I think that makes our community also special, just because when a family is in need, we all come together and try to provide support or resources the best that we can. I think when they see the title of parent educator coordinator or parent educator advocate, they think that we have all the answers, and just them seeing us being vulnerable is really special because they get to connect with us. We don't have all the answers. We are all human, and I think parenting is the hardest thing that we can do. There is no scripture on how to do it right. So I think just coming in as a community and supporting each other is really just special, just really a great environment to be around.
Thank you for sharing. It sounds like you live in a wonderful area that's very supportive. And thank you for your dedication and for CAPSLO being open when many others had to shut their doors. So we commend you. Thank you. Manny, would you like to answer one or more of the questions?
Sure. I think what makes our community unique and special is I think that a lot of our leaders in our community really take parent partners and parent leaders and actually implement us in a lot of their decision making, and they've always used us as leaders and examples in our community, and also they take different approaches, and I really love how our community works with each other. Organizations are coming together, intertwining, and just making sure that we're connected. And if like Miriam was saying, if we don't have the answers, we always look for other places or other organizations in our community to support our families and get them their needs taken care of. And her community reaches out to special populations in our community. We have special groups working with certain organizations and zip codes here in Ventura County where they're really focused in their cultural needs and their higher needs in that certain area. So I really like how we are creating just groups specifically to work with them in those specific needs and building those protective factors around those families.
That's wonderful. Well, it definitely sounds like you're an innovative leader, and thank you for everything that you do. I'd like to go ahead and let any of the parent leaders, if they've had any other thoughts to these questions, if they'd like to chime in now, that would be a great opportunity. Okay, so hearing none and not seeing any hands raised, thank you all for your participation in that. And then I will pass it over to FICA, and we have just a few other questions.
Hi, everyone. So thinking about yourself, so we're shifting gears a little bit from thinking about your community to thinking about yourself. And again, we'd like to invite any of our parent leaders and answering these questions. So share any obstacles that you have faced during the course of your work and how you were able to overcome them. What are some of the things that you are most proud of in your role as a parent? What part of parenting and working in your community do you find most rewarding? Yes, Jennifer, do you have any thoughts about any of these questions that you'd like to answer?
Yeah, I have definitely thoughts about all of them. So when it comes to facing obstacles, the major obstacle that I have faced is trying to provide services for families, because there is a mentality that certain amount of parents have showed that if I am not getting a physical check, or if it's something that's not connected to me as a parent, rather than focusing on their kids. So we had to kind of wheel back a little bit and speak about, okay, this helps your family as a whole, and this will help you not only live a better life as a family, but also bring a little bit more peace to you and your family. And also it'll create a healthy environment for your kids too, which is also the main focus in certain families that I work with, because sometimes they can also turn out to be CPS cases. So I personally try to even have that one-on-one of, okay, I understand where you're coming from. So facing that obstacle of families having the mentality of, why can't I just get a physical check, rather than why do I need certain things for? So changing that mindset from, oh, what can you do for me as a parent, from there to making it about, okay, what can we do for your whole family to give you, because there are families who also go through mental trauma, there are parents that go through mental trauma. So kind of making them realize that getting these services will also help you have that mental peace, and it'll create a happy and healthy environment for themselves and for their kids and for their families. And then as a parent leader, what I'm most proud of is being an example to my community. I've had even my kids' teachers that have told me that, oh, wow, we would definitely love to be who you are, even though that may not be possible. But just being an example to parents out there, being an example to other parents, some other leaders. So that's like one of my proudest moments. And also coming home and telling my kids that mommy accomplished this today, and hearing that, oh, I'm proud of you, mommy. So those are my two biggest accomplishments. And my third and final one would be, since I'm setting examples, I also see parents working towards, oh, I would like to join whatever you're doing. Because I've had parents that have joined prevention, Sacramento Prevention Cabinet, because they had the mentality of, oh my gosh, I would love to do what you do. I would love to provide for families the way that you do. And what I find most rewarding is providing for the families out there, changing the mentality to, I will do as much as possible from my side. Let's meet in the middle and let's change whatever is going on that is negative inside your home to something positive, and let's provide for yourself, for your kids, for your families. Let's do what we have to do to create a healthy environment for all of you. So that's most rewarding. And also hearing success stories after I have helped families, going back and speaking to them a week, a month, no matter how long it is, and just hearing from them that, oh, we're doing so much better now. So even hearing the success stories is most rewarding. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And thank you for your continued work in kind of shifting that mindset to help parents understand what is it that they need, why do they need it. Thank you so much for the great work. And Elisa, I think you also would like to contribute to the conversation. Feel free to chime in whenever you're ready.
I couldn't hit the mute button or the unmute button.
No worries.
A lot of what my answers are basically mirror what Jennifer just said, but I will share. The obstacles that that I've faced are parents who need services because they are struggling, but they're afraid to reach out. And the way that I've tried to overcome that is by providing support and resources, telling success stories, and the consistency and reinforcing the fact that asking for help is a strength and not a weakness. Hope begets hope. What are some of the things that I'm most proud of? Teaching my kids or my grandkids now the power of hope, which is the belief that tomorrow can be better than today and that they have the power to make that happen. And they can change their past and have a bright future. I'm teaching them self-care and self-advocacy. And the rewarding part of parenting and volunteering in my community is being able to come alongside others that have faced or are facing the same struggles that I have faced or I'm facing now. Peers supporting peers.
That's great. Thank you so much. And especially the point you made about self-care, I think that can sometimes be a key in overcoming some of the trauma that you've experienced. But thank you overall for all just the great work that you're doing in your community as well. And I believe Mania would like to also contribute to the conversation.
Thank you. So obstacles, I think, and in my personal experience, when I first began my journey as a parent partner, I think one of the biggest obstacles I faced was my own triggers and being able to overcome them. And at the same time, working with families who are basically going through things that brought me down and trying to have empower them, right, and teach them how to advocate for themselves and overcome those barriers. And another obstacle as a parent partner that I faced is trying to change the mentality in our community of those parents who refuse to accept the help when the help is out there for them, and kind of guiding them there, holding their hand and helping them understand that everyone's here just to support and help them. The things that I'm most proud of as a parent partner is being able to use all these resources and organizations and bringing them to my personal life as a parent, and also in my community as a community member. When I hear people have needs, whether they're involved in the system or not, being able to share all those resources that we've learned in our path as parent partners. Yeah, working in my community, I find it really rewarding being involved with teenagers and my kids and their friends and stuff like that. Being able to be an example today, and also being able to share my past and my mistakes in order for them not to take the same path. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manny, especially for the unique perspective that you're bringing to this conversation and how you're using your experience, but also trying to help others and what you may think that may have been the roadblocks for you. So helping others overcome that. Thank you so much. And lastly, I'd like to ask Miriam to contribute.
Yeah, I think an obstacle that I faced early on in my career was becoming culturally aware. I think just having background of family history and where they're coming from is super valuable. Just, you know, I'm Mexican, and that doesn't mean that a client that I have that's Mexican has the same values or the same cultural awareness as I did when I was younger. So just becoming culturally aware of what is going on in that family dynamics, and also coming in with a compassion, empathy side is also something that has helped me. Not having all the answers. I'm not a perfect parent, you know, and so sometimes I do have to research, and I do have to like read a book, or, you know, just dive into new resources. So letting them know that vulnerability side of myself as well has been something that has been super amazing on building rapport with the parents that I work with. I think something that I am most proud of as a parent is allowing myself to make mistakes and not taking it hard on myself. I have two kiddos, an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old. So I'm hitting the pre-adolescence stages with my 11-year-old. And I think as a parent educator, I think it's hard for me to see, or they have their own little mind, and so I can't react just because I want them to follow my footsteps. I have to also allow them to make mistakes and embrace those mistakes and teach them new skills on how to cope, on how to become little successful humans when they grow, because I cannot be there with them 24/7 guiding them. I have to make sure or feel that proudness, you know, that they're out in the community doing what they need to do on their own. It's so amazing to see them grow. And something that is most rewarding is yesterday I told both of them that I was getting an award, and they said, "For what, Mom? For being a good parent? You're going to get an award?" And that touched my heart. And I was just like, "Oh, you think I'm a good parent?" And they're like, "Yes, you know, like you let us talk, even though like we make mistakes." Like it was just such an enrichment conversation at an 11 and 9-year-old having with me. And I just, growing up, I didn't have that with my parents. So just seeing them, the communication that they have and that self-security that they have is just amazing. So that's more of like my reward. But I also want to give back to the families and say, you know, at a midst of chaos, it could be a light at the end of the tunnel, because we aren't perfect and kids are going to make mistakes. So how do we embrace it?
Thank you so much, Miriam, especially for the personal touch that you bring and how fulfilling that sounds when you had that conversation with your children and about the award. Thank you so much for everything that you bring, and just for being open and honest with the community that you're working with and telling them, hey, I might not have all the answers. Let's look at this together. Let's research together and figure this out. Lastly, we're going to shift to the last segment of our discussion, and I'll hand it over to Kelly to do that last part.
Thank you, Fika. So next in our discussion, if you're thinking about the future, if you had a superpower and could change one thing about your community, what would it be? And how can others get involved in their communities as parents? And we open it up to any of the parent leaders. Jennifer, please go ahead.
If I had a superpower, I would definitely change child abuse, because when we hear the term children, we know that they are our future. We know that they're going to be the ones who become something someday, and making them or putting them through that trauma, it can either make them or break them, and not, there are those who have been broken a lot, so they go about everything the negative way. So just switching that abuse to just, I would say, positive parenting nowadays, gentle parenting even, to help children have a better future, to help children to go through, I would say, positive life experiences rather than negative and questioning a lot of things. So that would be definitely one of the things that I would love to change if I could, because I'm one of the children that has been raised in a lot of trauma and a lot of abuse from my own parents, from my schools, from a whole bunch of other stuff. So I know how it can be to either go the positive way or the negative way. And then how can parents get involved? I would say just reaching out, networking, seeing if there's a parent leader that they know of, they can ask them questions of, okay, how do I get involved? What all do you do? Networking plays a lot of, I see, success play nowadays, and also social media, trying to find out through whether it's Facebook, whether it's through Google, also finding resources, because there are a lot of good websites out there, depending on what a parent would like to get involved in. There's everything on Google that can be found. So networking, Googling, speaking to other families, going to the libraries and finding flyers that are there. Because in my area, grocery stores also have flyers available. So just going out there, asking questions, researching, and everything, especially with COVID, everything is virtual, so it's very easy and very accessible.
Yes, thank you for sharing your perspective. You're full of wonderful ideas. Elisa, what would you like to share with us today?
I believe that being a parent leader is a superpower. And I also am a hope navigator. So I wouldn't change this, but I would make sure that everyone in the community knows about the science of hope and the power that that brings, and how it can change their lives. And I would want there to be less ACEs and less complex trauma in the future. How other parents can get involved. I would say parent leader advisory group, of course, but also volunteering and doing outreach. And just remember that hope begets hope.
Wise words. Thank you. Manny, what would you like to share with us today?
I think Elisa took the words out of my mouth basically, and I have it written down. I think everyone here in this panel already has a superpower, and to influence and promote a better tomorrow in our communities, and think everyone in their own special ways doing that. And not just in the panel, but in the field that we all work in, and everyone that's here today. But if I really could have or create something, would be like something that would cure childhood trauma and be able to break that chain that sometimes we carry with us into our kids and our grandkids. And so that would be something that if I had a superpower, I'd create like a magic wand that'll take your childhood trauma away and prevent a lot of our hardships as we become adults and carry with us. And how can others get involved in our communities? Just having the willingness. I mean, everything's out there for us. Just being willing to accept and use the resources that are already there for us. I think that's huge and important.
Great, thank you so much for sharing. Miriam, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think, going off what all the candidates said, we all have that superpower in us. But I think for me, if I had a superpower, I would definitely want to address burnout and self-care. I think our jobs are really difficult, and you can be the best parent leader, but if you feel that burnout, it really weighs heavy on you, and you don't provide that support to that family member that needs you, or that client that needs you, as well as self-care. I know in our Mexican cultural, self-care is not viewed as a positive. It's viewed more of being lazy. So just having that knowledge and awareness of how important self-care is for each of us is really important, and also implementing it with your coworkers, your staff. I think it's really important in order for us to do the job that we have to do. It's important for us to feel good in order to provide that support. How can I get other parents to be involved? I think in our community is making sure that they are self-sufficient. I think there is a lot of sometimes they don't feel comfortable speaking out because they think, oh, that person is educated or that person is above me. So we want to make sure that our families, our parents know that they are their biggest advocates, to become self-sufficient, to speak out when they need support, to go to the schools and say, what's going on, know their child's teacher, know their community, who can support them when they actually need that support. It's like Parent Cafes has the 5 protective factors, and I feel like that's something that families need to know, that they are their biggest support out there themselves. So just being aware of that.
Yes, thank you. And I feel like if we could crown you all, we would. And I believe that you all have invisible capes that you wear around every day. And just know that you're very special, and thank you. Do we have any others that had any other thoughts that you wanted to come back and answer some of these questions with? Okay, well, hearing none, I will pass this back over to FICA.
Thank you, Kelly. So this is our chance to ask any questions to our parent leaders. So anyone in the audience who would like to ask any questions, please raise your hand and we can start the discussion. I believe the audience, are they able to unmute themselves?
They are not able to unmute themselves. It is not a feature of Zoom webinar, but I am able to unmute them. They might have to unmute themselves on their end as well. But if attendees would like to raise their hands and say a few words, I would be happy to arrange that.
Thank you so much. Yes, so please raise your hand and we will we'll be happy to unmute and let you share whatever it is that you'd like to share or ask a question.
It looks like we have a question in the chat. Ruben asks, what recommendation would you give to parents who want to get involved in the community?
And this is open for any of the panelists to be able to answer.
I can answer that.
Thank you.
I think that may vary, Ruben, depending on what type of involvement you would mean. Like the community is always looking for parents, always looking for volunteers, especially like in the holidays, in a community with the teens out there. The way I started getting involved, like besides being a parent partner, I started like coaching my kids, becoming like a team dad, helping out with them, and then you start getting to know other parents and their needs, and sometimes you start realizing some parents, struggle to buy food, some parents are struggling with their housing, and having this experience as a parent leader and someone that works closely with their community and their organizations, that's one way that I've been getting involved in the community and organizations.
Thank you so much, Manny. That's helpful for anyone who's thinking about that. Any other questions? One more question in the chat. How would you encourage children to get engaged in helping out in their community?
I could share my experience. So my children, I feel like sometimes they are privileged. And so my mindset is like, we have to give back to our community. There is families that do need that support. So my 11-year-old hates when I drag him to events, but that's how I learned to be a leader in my community, was when my mom dragged us to her events. My mom she created her own nonprofit in our small community where we lived, and that's I just remember hating going to those meetings, but as I grew up, I valued that time and that experience. So I think just letting our children know when there's events and taking them to events, even though they know, I always explain the reasons why it's important, just so they can be humbled and know that, we are part of our community and we need to make our community better. So that's something that I have learned, is just taking them with me and having them be a part of the whole experience.
Thank you so much, Miriam. That's a very good point. Because if they see it firsthand, they're more likely to retain it and begin to value it, like you said, at an age when they're older. Any other questions anybody else would like to ask? One more question. What do you all do for self-care? That's a good one.
So really for self-care, we have 2 different days for self-care. Both of them consist of like family time. One of them is every single Thursday we get paid, so we end up doing a movie night as a family, because Thursday nights and Friday nights are the only free times that we have, because there's always chores, there's always something. So that's usually our Thursday night for self-care as a family. And then Sunday, my daughter has taught me doing my nails, getting all blinged up, just whether I'm dressing up or I'm just at home doing my nails with her, or no matter what it is. And then now she has learned to even involve her brother as, okay, let's try to give you a massage. Let's try to. So we have like 2 different days, but one of them involves all of us versus now my daughter trying to involve her brother too. So we kind of, and when it comes to me, like all by myself as a parent, there's no such thing as just me, to be honest. Like I'm always busy with something. So they're always there. So it's always, my world revolves around my kids. So there's never a personal self-care ever.
That's amazing. That's a really great example of doing self-care as a family. Those are some great ideas. Elise also put in the chat, teaching myself to be mindful and nature walks. I would just like to chime in as a parent of 2 young boys and a baby who's 11 months old. My idea of self-care is with the family, but also having without my kids. My other form of self-care is just having time with my husband. We don't get to do that very often. So whenever that happens, it's a big deal. And it's rejuvenating. It kind of brings us back to being even better parents than we were before. And just taking a step back and kind of looking at everything, analyzing everything, reconnecting. That's my form of self-care. And Jennifer also put in the chat, nature walks sound so peaceful. That's a very good point.
I'm actually reading a book called just No Drama Discipline with by Daniel Siegel. And he outlines like how we are quick to react, you know, and so in that book, it kind of just says like, you do need a break from, you know, the chaos, and you need to reconnect. That's either with your children, with your partner, with yourself. So learning to how to own up to your mistakes when, you know, you did react in such a way, so that way your children know that yeah, it's okay to react, but it's also, we also have to learn how to reconnect with ourselves and be vulnerable at that time and say, you know, I made a mistake at that time. It was really scary, or I was really upset. Owning up to those feelings. And I think that book has just helped me out, kind of just stop for a moment, take a breath, and then deal with the issue at hand, and also deal with the issue, not the character of the person, because that doesn't define that person. So I think it's important for us to just reconnect with ourselves and also be okay with the quietness or the stepping away from your children for a while so you can take care of your needs. And that's something that it's hard to do, but it's really important to do. That's what I feel as self-care.
Thank you, Miriam. Anyone else would like to contribute or ask a question?
So FICA, while we're waiting for other questions to come in, can I read off some of the chat notes that I want to make sure that we get to highlight?
Yeah, of course.
So on top of the many, many congratulations to all of you that have come in through the chat, there's some inspiring words. Like some say, you all are heroes. You all inspire me. All of you are making a difference in your communities, and I really appreciate every single one of you. You're all paving the way to building a community of love and support and compassion. Thank you. There's lots of applause. You all are amazing. It's just wonderful. Like everybody is super proud of all of you, and thank you so much for being here. So
Thank you so much for sharing that, Kelly. It's a reiteration, and we could not say this enough, how valuable this work is that you all are doing. Any other thoughts or questions or ideas that anybody would like to share before we close out? Feel free again to raise your hand and we will unmute you if you have any thoughts or questions. And if the panelists or parent leaders have anything to add, feel free to do that. If not, I would like to turn it over to my colleague, Ruben, and he would like to share something before the end of the Parent Leadership Awards.
Thank you, FICA. Hello, everyone. My name is Ruben Ursua Jr., and I'm a part of the Parent Leadership Award Committee, along with everybody else on this panel. Great group of individuals to work with. But listening to everything, I felt compelled to just share this last bit with you all, because it always, whenever you listen to other people speak and everything, it always jars and loosens up ideas or brings back thoughts and ideas that you had possibly floating around up there in your mind. So I wanted to share this, that you all are definitely beautiful examples and reflections, of your families and of your communities. And I'm pretty sure everyone here could, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I'm pretty sure everyone could agree with me that you definitely are examples to follow. And it reminded me of a couple of different things, but the main thing that popped into my mind as we acknowledge you all is in Spanish, it's called conocimiento, and that acknowledgement, and it reminded me of a conversation I just had with my daughter about the importance of acknowledgement and the importance of why we're doing what we're doing here today and acknowledging all of you. And my daughter was kind of like, it's funny, she's my oldest daughter and she's graduating this year. And so we kind of, whoops, sorry about that. We kind of had a conversation, about acknowledging and being thankful for those individuals who helped her along the way to get her where she's at now and going off to college and all these great things. So we were kind of having a conversation about that and the importance of it. And she kind of looked at me confused, and I was like, I'm gonna share a story. And I told her, I used to do this thing where, because my background comes in with working in communities and working throughout the state of California in different communities, and how the importance of acknowledgement, and how I used to go and I used to do this exercise with everybody, and I'd go and I'd shake, everyone's hand, and I usually skip one person. And she's like, oh, why? That sounds me. I go, no, but this is the importance, is that when we go through life and we only acknowledge certain individuals, those people that are acknowledged start to internalize things and not really look at themselves like, what's wrong with me? We're up here, we're doing the same thing. And, they start internalizing like something's wrong with them. And I go, and that's the importance of this conocimiento and acknowledgement. And what we're doing here today is that this work, this beautiful work that comes with a lot of rewards, but a lot of struggles and a lot of heartache as well, needs to be acknowledged. And I often think about it as it's sometimes a thankless effort that you all do when you put out there and you're doing this work. But I'm glad that OCAP and is able to offer these type of conocimientos and acknowledgement to all of you that are doing this great work. And so I'm being these reflective mirrors, these mirrors that you all are of your communities and of your families. So I have something for you all as well, because it just reminded me of my daughter, and having this conversation was that I also would like you all to think of foreign individuals that you really love and you care about a lot, and offer this conocimiento to them. Offer that conocimiento to them and thank them for whatever they did to be in that circle, whatever they did to be in your life in that way and help you, assist you, and do like that, to offer that conocimiento to them. Because when we heal and we offer these conocimientos to others, we offer that healing to others as well. So once again, I just wanted to share that little bit with you all, and thank you all for the great efforts that you're doing, and keep up the great work. And not, like I said, not only are you making your communities and your families proud, but you're making all of us here in the state of California proud. So I appreciate you all, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruben. At this point, we're just ready to close out. I just want to thank you all again. Thank our parent leaders for being with us today, for going through the discussion with us, and just opening kind of our realm of everything that we already know about parent leadership. And I thank you all for all the amazing work that you're doing. I just want to hand it over to Kelly for any last words, and then I think we're done. Thank you so much.
Again, I echo everyone's congratulations and thank you for being here. We really appreciate you showing up and being able to share your parent perspectives on how everything is going in the communities and enlightening. Definitely very thankful to hear from all of you, and thank you for the audience participation and questions that you were able to include. And we wish you all a wonderful afternoon, and thank you so much. Enjoy.